My name is Lord Lucifer, and this is one of our first satsang meditation sessions. I'm going to be responding to a post that I saw on Facebook in Dr. Joe Dispenza's meditation group by somebody who was asking how someone who can be a guru, who seems to be very in tune with the reality of existence, can then go and do things that seem to be negative, that have a detrimental effect on other people. Particularly, I don't know who the individual that the lady was referring to is, and it's irrelevant. But particularly in this case, it seemed that they'd created a community and they had been taking advantage of the members of the community who had come with an open heart and open mind, looking to somebody to help them. And it seems like it's a big break in trust. And so the question is, how can somebody be enlightened, or whatever you want to call it, a master, and yet do things that create negative effects for other people? I think the first thing is the idea of negative effects implies that you know what's best for people. Now, I know it's not easy to hear sometimes, especially when traumatic things have occurred. So I want to be very sensitive as I say this. But what happens to you creates changes. And where you're going and who you're becoming, nobody knows. We can use the word God or life or whatever for the idea of the knowing unknown, that which knows which nobody knows. The idea that life or God has a plan. Perhaps it does, perhaps it doesn't, who knows. But I be very, very careful in assuming that we know whether something is better or worse for somebody, and experience transforms. And pain is not always a bad thing. In fact, pain is just as much a part of our game as pleasure is. Pain makes us change. We think of ourselves as people, but we're not. A person is an idea, it's a construct, it's a concept that was given to you. It's a shape, a box that you were told, this is who you are, and this is what's expected, and this is what you'll be. And when things worked within that box, you're very proud of yourself, you want to show it off. It's what mummy and daddy told me to be, it's what my teachers told me to be, it's what the world expects from me, it's a good person. But when things come outside of that box, they didn't fit into that shape that they had assigned for you, well then most people try to hide that away, they feel guilty about it, they dislike themselves, they try and fight against it. And this is the beginning of the confusion that people have, who they naturally are and who they are trying to be. And sometimes those two meld and they work together. Sometimes we are in that box, that's fine. But there are times when we're not. And when we're not in that box, we're now outside of the boundaries of societal expectation. Well, the reason for bringing this up is because the expectation that you have of yourself as a person relates to the expectations that you have of other people as a person. The idea of being a person also holds with the idea of progression. Even the most basic level, we go from baby to child to adolescent to adult, etc. And as you go through that, there is an expectancy that you become more responsible, that you become more self-dependent, that you become more polite, blah, 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 whatever it may be. There is an expected pattern of progression for this shape which you were told that you are. This concept, this structure, this idea, this person, this whatever it may be. And because there's one for you, we also assume there's one for everybody else. And thus, what we try to do is we try to map the expected progression of this pattern, of this shape, of this construct, along with our ideas of how external events would impact that progression, negatively or positively, and negatively or positively normally meaning staying with that progression of the expected behavior, the expected pattern, or moving away from it. Now also the expected behavior, the expected pattern can be what we expect to be safe and what we expect to be dangerous. Because actually, most of the ideas that were given to us with great intention, great love, actually, great care. And they say the road to hell is paved with good intentions. People, parents, teachers, society, whatever, give these forms, these ideas, these templates, these concepts to children because it is their belief that this is going to be the most beneficial progression through life for them. Now sometimes that may be the case, I don't know, I'm not here to say what's right or wrong at all. I will freely admit that it's very possible I'm wrong. It's happened before. I have previous. In fact, all of my statements I will consider to be right wrong, the same way that it's always day-night on this planet. There's no real truth, there's no real falseness, except for that which you perceive, because truth, if we call it truth with a capital T, that which really has no word, is underneath truth and non-truth. And so both truth and non-truth arise from that which we are. And all things are just expressions of it. The expression of who we are can go in any direction. And it is simply a matter of whether you like it or not. Now you may not like the expression that occurs within me. That's not so important. What's important is whether you like the expression that's occurring within you. Because you're the one that's you. You get to live with you. You're your own dream come true. So you've got to do what you want to do. You've got to be who you want to be. Now, how can you be other than you are? Let's say you're unhappy with your current expression of how you're being. How can you be other than that? And the great wisdom of today is to try to change yourself, to change the external world, to force, to push. As if you are a person in the universe. But what if the inverse is true and you are the universe in a person? You are life being life. In front of the screen and behind the screen, it's both you. You're both the same thing. You and life are both life. There's nothing else here. Me, you, and we is an upside down version of me. Wherever you go, there you are. Here now, don't know how, but wow. The wow is bigger than the how, but also with Tao, the wow is bigger than any how. And trusting that the pain is as important a movement as the pleasure. Because all it is a movement. And there's only movement and stillness, silence and sound. That's all that's ever occurring in the universe. We become quite prejudiced to certain types of movements, to certain types of sounds, as if there's a way the universe or life should express itself. But this moment is brand new. It's never happened before. It's fresh, here now. So how and why could there ever be a way that this should be? And when you look at others, asking why they behave the way they behave or how they behave the way they behave, in truth your question is not about them, because there's no out there. There's no they. There's only me, you and we is the upside down version of me. So when we have a problem with them, it's really ourselves that we're looking at. And so the fear is that arises, or that I perceive as I heard the question, is not how could somebody do it, if they're enlightened or if they've become this aware or awoken or whatever phrasing you may use. But more to the point, could I do that? What if I do that? What if I become awakened? What if I become enlightened and I behave badly? That's the fear. What if there's no way that I can trust myself? Isn't that the biggest fear we all have? What if I can't trust me? What happens if I'm free and I'm untrustworthy? Isn't it better I'm caged? Wouldn't everyone be more safe? I don't know. Don't have a time machine. Can't tell you the future. But I can tell you this. If you can't trust you, nobody else can. So perhaps start learning to trust yourself by not holding back. See, we're so scared of expressing ourselves just honestly, truthfully in the moment, going, fuck, shit, bollocks, you're a cunt. Because what would other people say? What would other people think? I don't know. Who cares? Fuck them. You're you. If you want to scream, if you want to shout, if you want to cry, if you want to dance, fucking do it. Do it. What's the purpose of the universe? How are you helping or hindering? No, shut up and eat your food. Don't be so rude to yourself and to all others about you. There's nothing wrong with the world. We're just having a very weird conversation. Somebody once told you the world should be a certain way or that it wasn't okay the way it is, and you believe them. But what if they were wrong? What if the trick to life was as simple as I'm me, you're you, and we're we? That's it. And just treating all of them with RESPECT. No matter how they may appear in our dream, or what we may believe or perceive. Whether they seem to reveal or deceive, it makes no difference. They're still a part of we, and we is still an upside down version of me. So if you wish to change the world, listen to Rumi, boys and girls. He said, yesterday I was clever, so I was changing the world. Today I am wise, so I'm changing myself. I don't know how. That's my answer. Do not know. Honesty, integrity. But I also don't know why my alarm went off at that moment and it cut the recording. I don't know. Why I wasn't born earlier, why I'm not taller, and why I'm not my mother's daughter. I don't know the 75th word from now that I'm going to say, and I don't know which hand I'm going to use to open the door when I walk out of the room. But I'm not panicking, I'm stuck in here forever. Life has a way of working itself out. In fact, literally, that's all it's been doing since the Big Bang, is working itself out from a singularity. There is an idea that you are not perfect, that everything about you is not exactly as it should be. But that's an idea, do you see? You're the one that is aware of this idea. So if you're aware of it, it can't be you. It's going to come and it's going to go. I've had lots of ideas in my life. Some of them stay for a while and some of them go quickly. So what? I've sung lots of songs, I've painted lots of pictures, I've thought lots of thoughts. I don't hold on to them. I don't have an answer for your question. But that's perhaps because there needn't be a question. In fact, you think of yourself as asking a question, as if you are separate from the events that occurred in this person that you're speaking about. But rather you simply are the entirety of all things. The idea that something's happening to you or around you, again, is just an idea. There's nothing wrong with you, just like there's nothing wrong with anyone else. Now, we may choose that we have preferences and we may move towards those preferences. That's great. There's nothing wrong with it. If you put your hand in the fire, you'll move it out pretty quickly. It starts to burn. Nothing wrong with that. We move away from pain and towards pleasure. Absolutely. But resisting is a different thing. Resisting is refusing to put your hand near the fire. You see, too scared that it might get hot well before the heat has even come towards your hand. We don't trust in the full motion of life. People are on move one all the time, doing this. It's fine. Put your hand in the fire, ow, hot, move, and then you'll do something else. Life's a beautiful, endless dance. It's a bottomless pit. There's nothing to hit. But you've got to let go. So honesty, perhaps, is the greatest gift that I could share with you in response to this question. I don't know. I don't know is the greatest lesson ever. The removal of learning, of knowledge, of education, of arrogance, of hubris, of ego, to the simple truth of integrity and authenticity in life. I don't know. And even when you think you know, is it possible that you're wrong? Have you ever been wrong before? Could you be wrong again? And if so, then even the greatest knowing isn't a knowing. It's a thinking, hoping, a wishing. But no, it's not a knowing. Whether in science or religion, it's the same thing. Because both start with I don't know, ignorance, and where both are done correctly, they end with ignorance, I still don't know. In science, a theory is the highest level of knowledge one can get to, which is still, I don't know. It's not absolute fact. As it well should be. It should be considered to be 99.9% at best. It's not fact, it's not a knowing, we never know. And with religion, absolute honesty, the idea that you cannot know God, and even at the very top, you still don't know. But at the top of religion, you don't have to hold on to God, because you know God holds on to you. admitting you don't know frees you up to go with the flow and just enjoy the show. Wherever you go, say, hello, I don't know, so I love you and thank you. No idea how your actions are impacting others. But it's always equally day and night on this planet, and everything you do will equally create dark and light. You will always be wrong and right, in equal measure. Do you see? So it comes back to the RESPECT. Let me be me and you be you. Allow all of us to be free in what we do. It's okay to sing the wrong song. If that's your song, sing the wrong song too long. You still got it going on. And even when the song is gone, sing on. Don't worry if you're getting it right, left, or purple. Just sing. Life is self-correcting, but most people are correcting the corrections. That's the mistake. Stop correcting the corrections. Just enjoy being here now, because that's what you are. You are here now, always, and in all ways. There's nothing but you, me, and we. That's it, for eternity. This is our everlasting divinity. An infinity of you, me, we, and T. Because T is for trust, trust in us, trust in love, and love is enough. Because we're only ever just this. Whatever this is, just this is our justice. And when you find justice in just this, you will have found love's eternal kiss and everlasting bliss. We are only ever just